My name is Grettve. I'm an architect and I work for the strategic design company Dark Matter Labs.
And my name is Malin Kroner. I'm a landscape architect and I work at Marel Landskapsarkitekter.
My name is Hans Willehader. I'm an architect and I work at Kjellander Sjöberg Architects.
I think my mission as a designer has changed and maybe developed, but the older I get, the more interested I am in sustainability, for example, or in how we as designers can help.
And maybe it also has to do with the times we live in.
Absolutely.
The development, I think.
It seems like we all react to trends in society where we all have to make sure that we have a livable city, and perhaps making buildings that are architecturally perfect is sort of maybe less important. It's important, but it's subject to actually making good cities.
So it's really interesting to think about how we interact in a city, because it's also different from countries to country. I mean, Sweden, for example, is a country where we're not very good at interacting. It doesn't come naturally, as it does in many other places in the world. Spain, for example, I don't even think it's a design issue. That just happens. But here we talk about this. How do we make people interact in the street? I mean, it's interesting to see also the city as like in a wider system. It's not only design or how we build it. It's also psychology and who we are as humans, and how we want to live.
And maybe it's a climate thing, and we have to sort of make sure that there is an activity that you can tie up your occupation in that space too. And perhaps in Spain, you're passing through the city and you stay just because it's a nice weather, and you sit on a bench, and the climate here doesn't necessarily prove that all through the year. So if you have an action, you can occupy yourself to skating or other things that you interact in those kind of activities instead. And that's why you maybe have to create spaces in different ways.
And also maybe to listen to different people and to do research from people in the city, because it's very different how we interact depending on who we are, or age, or personality. So I think the mix, the diversity in the city is extremely important.
I think as architects, maybe we should also work a little bit more on opening up and collaborate more with areas that we normally don't use as much.
I agree. We have to open up and maybe be more curious about how we can make our design different in terms of the needs we have in the society today, and the changes that are up to come, that are inevitable coming.
I often think it's really fun to work with kids and local kids. If you work with a park, or for instance, now we work in the skate park in Linköping, and also with the roller derby community, and those groups have a lot of ideas of what they want to do, and it's really exciting to work with them and their view on the city as well.
And perhaps when you have to face a new set or a new receiver of your design, that's when the interesting discussions happens, and when the interesting solutions are realized.